Good evening, beautiful people. Welcome back to the NDA Podcast. I'm Rob D, aka Sketchcraft. How are you? Yeah, I'm in a mood. So, what's up? What are we doing here tonight? Tonight, I am drawing Spawn Kills Every Spawn on my board, but I cannot share that right now because it comes out this summer. And if I showed it to you, you know the deal. So I can't do that. But what I will do, behind me, I'm going to play a video of something I did back in 2017. A Hellboy Copics piece. Actually, I'm going to show you the drawing, the inking, and then the Copics. It's going to go a while. It's going to go like 2 hours. So if you're in the future, you can jump right to the Copics. You can jump right to the inking. Wherever you want to go. It doesn't really matter. It's going to play while I work. I'm going to let the whole thing go through. I'm going to work exactly the time. So let's just get this going because I got a pissy night ahead of me. Little Rob, where are you, buddy? There you are, buddy. Copics video, where are you? There you are, buddy. And there I go. It's the NDA Podcast. What else do we do on this thing? I talk about whatever you'd like to talk about. I want to talk about X-Men 97 episode 3. You want to talk about the weather? You know, you want to talk about the price of burritos? Whatever you want, man. Just let me know. I'm here all night. I'm going to give you a little heads up of what I'm doing here. This is me. I did like a roughie of this Hellboy and then printed it out onto B marker paper, and then I'm drawing that with red Pentel ink. It's red Pentel lead on a mechanical pencil. Don't use that mechanical pencil anymore. I got a new one, Kurtog. It's a little better, but that is a good one. It's a good one. So you know, my thoughts about this overall piece is at the time I was kind of playing around with chunky proportions with my commissions. Like chunky proportions of my commissions. So this Hellboy is gonna be a little bit chalk guy, a little bit thick legs, a little bit of big feet, because he's always thin. I just thought, well, why don't I make this guy a little big? So that's what I did here. Now, you know, I go back to varied stuff, but I spent a good year just kind of playing around with these proportions. That's how I went. So I will draw this with a red pencil, then I'll ink it, and then I will print out a copy and color it in Copics. And we already have some comments. Oh my goodness. Shelby Robertson is in the house from YouTube. Good old Shelby. You guys haven't checked out Shelby's work at American Discord. You should. If you like to see some insane traditional inks and some brilliant traditional Copics, and you want to watch him tear up anything less than a 9/8 sketch cover, you should go check out American Discord on YouTube. Shelby's a dope artist, dude. Don't underestimate that nice guy persona. There's a lot of talent behind that guy. We also got Mick Kling from Twitch saying, hey, down to draw request. Also, can you type? Please, sorry if it's rude to ask. Can I type? Why? Is this like a AI thing or something, man? No, not taking any requests anymore. Right now I'm drawing a comic book called Spawn Kills Every Spawn, so my drawing is 10 hours a day, my friends. 10 hours a day. Shelby says, I'm currently tearing up all 9.8 candidate blank sketch covers. This is true. It is true. I don't know how. Look, before I get started, I just want to say, when it comes to this whole sketch cover thing, man, Shelby and them guys, they got a whole other game going on. I just make art. You know, like when it comes to sketch and making everything pristine and CGC, I don't know. I'm kind of like a Cro-Magnon when it comes to that. I just make. I don't know how they do it. I really don't. I don't know how they keep everything perfect. And man, I'm not that skilled. So, but as soon as I'm done with this issue, I'm gonna use some of my free time to get caught up on some a few things I've been wanting to draw lately. And one of them will be Shelby's character Rage-ality. Is it Rage-ality or Rage? Sorry, my friend. Horrible with names. I always call him Rage. But that's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun to do that. And then I don't know what I'm gonna do after that. If I'm gonna jump into commissions right away. I got some stuff to get caught up with, but I'm kind of thinking I'll wait on that until I got a pre-order code for Spawn Kills as well. So we'll see. We'll see about that. Oosh. Alrighty. Let me get going here. This right here is actually as fast as Shelby draws. He's super fast. This is Rob. This is not my speed. It's not Rob's speed, for certain. Rage-tality. Thank you. Right, rage, post-fatality, rage-tality, like Mortal Kombat. It's all dope. I will remember. If he can say my last name right, I can say his character's name right. Rage-tality. I will say it, Sean. Every day I'll wake up and I'll say it 3 or 4 times until I get it down. I promise. I promise you. Oh, also for Shelby, because he likes it. Oh, darn it. I took it into the other room. I got a nice Batmobile, but it's in the other room. I'm not gonna leave my desk. I'll have to show it sometime. Shelby did a stream the other night and his buddy Andy came on. Am I right, Andy? And dude was showing off his dope ass Batmobile that Farling put out. I was like, gotta get one. You know, I'm a shill, folks. Yeah, I'm a sucker for 90s Batman. So it is a dope toy. It is super huge. It is the kind of Batmobile I wish we had access to when we were younger. Not the lame ass ones we got from Toy Biz. Not that I was playing with them. It was just like, you know, closer to a model. Never good at building models. And glue my hand to things all the time. I built the Batwing model. I did do that. Then you got to paint it, and I didn't know anything about priming, so like, it didn't come out very good. I was like, you know, I'll just draw the Batwing. I think at some point I should do another Hellboy piece. It's been quite the while. I always like wonder like, is there anything I can add to it? I think now I could. You know, for a few years I didn't think I could add anything to it. I have a Hellboy Saucy I did back in 2013. I might play. It came out alright, but I definitely was like using more traditional proportions on that one. Let's see. Right now I'm messing with proportions on chains. Trying to draw different types of chains. Spawn chains, kind of boring in my opinion. Like they tend to not do much with the chains. Really bugs me when people use chain brushes. I get monthly schedules, but I'm like, don't like the chain brushes. Don't like them. Is the extent of my inking, folks. Like I tend to just draw. I draw with pens. I don't really ink. I wish I could, man. I wish I could do that feathering stuff and cross hatching. I'm no good at it. I don't have the mind for it for some reason. And I have tried. Oh, I have tried. That's why I used to do like real gritty pencils. It's like, well, if I make the pencils really gritty, yeah, close enough. But yeah, inks wise, no good. Yeah, Shelby was talking on this podcast the other day about sketch cover artists and how like they tend to not get picked up for actual books. Kind of a shame, really. Kind of a shame, you know? Like, some really great stuff out there, and it's like, I guess the whole variant cover market's based on like fame and stuff, but it's like, it would have been really good if they had like Marvel like masterpiece or artist edition variants, which are like they just find like really great sketch cover artists and have them do some official ones, you know, things like that, just to keep the traditional art going, you know. I guess that does not happen. Quite the shame. This was like, I think, the second to last Copic piece I did before I just switched to color pencils. I was doing so much color pencil work on this stuff that I was like, why don't I just do color pencils? Like, I feel like I'm cleaning up Copics too much with this. I shockingly realized I never posted the Copic version of this when it all gets colored up, so I will have to do that. I had to dig through my old scans. Like, I scanned it in, but I was like, I guess I never posted this. I think what happened was at the time I got hired to do the First Strike covers. Max Dunbar was illustrating First Strike, which was like a masked G.I. Joe Transformers crossover thing, and they had hired me to do the covers. So I put everything on that. I just kind of forgot to ever post it. And then they took me off the covers and made me the D cover, which was really, really quite great. So I was like, D cover. No one knows who I am, man. I told him that. I'm like, no one, who's gonna pre-order a D cover from me? Like, that's so weird, man. Like, why did you guys even hire me? I don't fully understand the thinking on that one. And then, of course, they didn't sell. And I got a lot of shit from the IDW community at the time because they were like, you're drawing your Optimus Prime like Pat Lee. I'm like, well, I like chunky thing. I was drawing everything chunky. I'm like, yeah, I'll do that chunky Transformer stuff. Ooh, they did not like that. So just they were at the end of it, IDW was like, these are like the worst selling covers we've had all year. I'm like, there you go. Lesson learned. I remember they offered me a Transformers mini series at the time. And I was like, I just didn't respond to the email. So I'll just pretend like I never read that, you know? Like, it's not responsible. I was like, why get into it? You'd think I enjoy trying Transformers, but it's a lot of lines for me. You know, I think some guys do that really easily, some don't. I mean, Daniel Warren Johnson's doing it with the brush pen. I don't do brush pens, so it's like, you know, Jack Lawrence did a good job of like simplifying the Transformers, but then I look at it and I'm like, it just doesn't look like Transformers. They look more like GoBots from the simplified to me. I'm like, I'm just going to overcomplicate this. Probably not the project for Rob. I wonder what I would do now. I'm a completely different headspace. I've really focused on making my art like expressive. I wonder what I would do now. That might be fun. That might be fun to say, what would I do now? Although, you know, fatal last words, right? So it's like, I say that and then I get really good at it and people want more of it and then you're stuck. You gotta be careful showing people what you're good at doing if you don't want to do it all the time. People tend to hire you to make more of the thing they like, not less. So it's gonna be a giant hand, folks. Like, this is gonna be, it's like the biggest Hellboy fist ever. This is more like vinyl toy design than character design, really. Shelby says, so dude, that's literally how I got pulled into doing inks on Liefeld. He was digging my inks on my own sketch covers. That led me to inking his Youngblood Volume 3 backups and the Deadpool Bad Blood books. Yeah, I mean, I know you don't consider yourself an inker, and I get it, because you can actually, you know, you got great pencils and designs and colors, you know. Shelby says, has nothing to do with me doing pencil finished over his layouts for 27 years. It's so sad. So sad, right? It's always sucks when people you work with for a long time treat you almost like I never knew you could do something. You know, I feel like I'm kind of going through that with the client I worked with in the past, in a way. Like they're kind of starting another project and I'm kind of being looked over, and I'm like, they never really paid attention to what I was doing, is what it is. I was trying to explain it to my wife. I'm like, they saw what they wanted to see, not what I was actually doing or capable of doing, you know. It is entirely frustrating. I mean, I'll be honest, dude, out of all the guys that came out of Extreme, long term, right? Not short term, but long term, Shelby's the only one I've seen who's managed to like keep that style, but then like push it forward. Probably because, you know, Shelby has like the Top Cow influences, Silvestri. I mean, but you've like evolved it, right? Like it's quite good, you know. And a lot of guys just sort of like tune down their line works, you know, tone down, try to shortcut their way and stuff. They don't actually like get better at the craft. Shelby's a guy that constantly is like always, you know, like getting better, dude, like just getting better, you know. I know, because I own Shelby art from 1995 or so. He hates that. Don't mention the art. I'm like, no. But for real, dude, you know, like, it's like, I'm like, what do? You know, like, you're there working with people for years and you're putting everything you have into it, and you're like, I guess they just don't really notice. And they don't. Or they're incapable of seeing what one could do. They only can see what you did do. I mean, it's one of the things I do appreciate about Todd is he saw a drawing I did and just immediately was like, oh yeah, you could do a whole book, you know. Like, not a lot of people, you know, be honest, not a lot of people go that distance. They tend to just see the one thing you do and then that's it. So J Roll says, what's up, J Roll, over on the Facebook checking in. I was saying, man, I'd love to see a Shelby's like just Arkham Asylum kind of thing, you know, like monster. I like it when Batman villains are treated a little bit more like monsters and a little bit less like realistic gangsters, you know. But that's what I thought the animated series originally did well, was keeping that monster vibe like Burton had, but, you know, adding a little bit of that gangster. But I do like the monster take on Batman stuff, you know. I don't ever want the, I don't like the, it sounds weird, but I'm not the biggest fan of like the techno Batman stuff. Even though I've done some techno Batman like art. I love Asbats, but I mean, when, you know, Batman has like Marvel Avengers gear on him and stuff, I'm not a big fan of it. Even though I've done that. I've drawn that in the past. But I only blame myself. Yeah, I don't ink with the nib too much anymore. I just use the, I mean, I do like it, but I just use the red wine Copic multi-layer nibs when I do. Although, to be honest, these days I would just draw it digitally, print it out, and didn't color it traditionally. I just can draw with my whole arm digitally. It's kind of the thing. I like to do my sketches traditionally, but I just, plus I hate to admit it, but my eyesight it's getting a little tougher and a little bit tougher on drawing, not coloring, but drawing. It is happening. Here says, I wish I was a good artist. Aw, you're being too kind. Thank you so much. Well, you know what? You know, just get there one drawing at a time, to be honest with you. I look at this stuff, I'm like, man, I would not go about it this way. You know, but this was all like experimentation, like these kinds of proportions and stuff at the time. Like, I was sort of like really just kind of rejecting a lot of like mainstream comic book stuff that I was sort of being asked to do all the time. And I was like, I'm not going to do any of that. I'm going to do totally different. More like vinyl toys, less like, here's what I would do if I were on the book, or here's me trying to audition for the book. Which I think there's total value in that. I mean, like, I got the gig I'm on now because I literally did some stuff that is, sometimes I go, hey, I'm gonna draw a version of this that would never get approved, and you know, it worked out for me. It led to other gigs. So, but I mean, what the heck? So I just found a line I drew and I'm like, what did I do there? This is like chunky Travis Charest belts. See? Those are like those weird lightsaber things he put on Wildcats 3, but I just made them like super chunky. Super chunky. Super chunk. Time for some super chan. I think one thing I'm going to do is anything I do like a regular pose of, let's say for a commission or something, I'm definitely going to make a copy of that and do like a watercolor piece that's not saucy, just like something more cleaner, so I can practice getting back into paints again. I want to do some cleaner watercolor stuff. And then if it doesn't work out, I'll just ditch all that. But sometimes I'll do like 3 versions of the same drawing on just different types. Like I did like a version of craft paper with tonal markers and white ink and red ink, and then I'll do like a watercolor version and a color pencil version just to see what it would look like. You know, like which way I would prefer to do it. Part of that's just because I've never had one look where everyone's like, that's what I want, Rob. You know, like it's never happened. So like I'm always like, I'll try this, I'll try that, I'll try this. My PhD says, hey dude, hope you're well from Twitch. What's up? Hope you're well. Thank you for hanging out. It's late. Thank you for stopping by. And yes, I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I'm gonna give him the biggest freaking gun ever. Like, you watch. This handgun is ridiculous. I was like, I'm just gonna fill up the paper with over proportioned stuff. Let's do it. This is the kind of drawing that would make Mike Carlin rage. I know it. I know it. Coffee. I gotta play that Hellboy game that came out. I keep forgetting. There was this 3D Hellboy game that came out where they did the shader, the rendering like Mignola's art with really, you know, spot blacks and stuff. Limited color palette. I gotta give that a shot. Definitely gotta give that a shot. Look at that. It's just ridiculous. Make a good vinyl statue, right? Wouldn't it? Wouldn't it? Wouldn't it? Internet, make it happen. Make it happen. But yeah. My initial goal when I first started drawing like my own comics was, I mean, the first comic I sold to Image back in 2005, I was drawing it more of in a Disney style. I'd say something closer to Treasure Planet, you know? And for some damn reason, like I stopped doing it when I got picked up on Monstroids, and I tried to do like this animated Stephen Platt look. I don't know, it was a dumb thing to do. And then I wisened up and then kind of tried to go back to, I don't know, never went back to that look. I'm kind of like into my own look now, but definitely should have stuck more to my guns, I think, in the beginning. That would be great to see like a Glen Keane animated style Hellboy. I mean, although personally, like, I wish they would just make a stop motion Hellboy, you know, like Pinocchio, like Guillermo del Toro. But I guess Guillermo and Mike Mignola don't get along. Guess that's not gonna happen. Guess that ain't gonna happen. Not the best paper to use that nib on, by the way. It's too slick. No texture. So I should have just drawn this in Copic multiliner. Yeah. This one's a little weird. I do the spot blacks in black color pencil. See this part here, the shading thing, right? Like I kind of shade in the light source a little bit with that pencil. Some that just doesn't translate to inks at all. So it's like, how do you even hand that to a colorist? I don't know, you know? I've colored my own work that I've done like this, and I've had to remove the shading from the pencils. Like once they're all inked, you can select the red, trap all the red, and then delete it and paste it back in. You have it, but you can keep the lines. But for some reason, I need, when it goes to pencils and stuff, like I need to do this. Like, like anything else, drawing takes me the longest. The coloring I do like super fast, but especially when I don't know what I'm gonna do, like proportion wise, I'm like, well, maybe I'll do it this way, that way. If you guys didn't follow, man, Shelby did this Ragetality, these pages in like that Sin City style, dude. Like, he hooked that one up. That Chiaroscuro. To be fair, I didn't know it existed. Like Mike Golden or Steranko did something like that, but like, I think first ever I saw that style was Calvin and Hobbes. You know, so I'm like, that's a Calvin and Hobbes style. is not the version of the character you'd want to draw for like 6 panels a day. This is the kind you advertise in Diamond and it ships 2 years later, you know? It'll be called Hellboy Red. Rick Snyder in the house from YouTube. What's up? What's up? I don't have the videos. Shelby's got all the videos. Shelby's a master of meme videos, man. I gotta put the meme videos in, put them all in. Oh, that's the color test I do, folks, to work out how I'm gonna do the reds. Yeah. And I did originally try like a purple, yellow to blue. Ignore all this, I just didn't edit this out. Like color scheme for the background, but I eventually went with green. You're never supposed to mix red and green together because it kind of looks like Christmas, but that's what I did. But I could get away with it. It was olive greens, not pine green. It's going to start up here. Just give it a second. There we go. And that's just a color pencil holder, by the way, that metal thing. That's like an older. It's one of those that's too small. See, I'm going to do all the shadows in color pencil this time versus blacks. I have a hard time with spot blacking, folks. My mind does not want to see positive and negative values. I have this thing called synesthesia, so like when you say a word, this is why I get names confused and stuff and messed up. You say Shelby, I see blue, yellow, white, black, yellow, you know. The E is a green, sorry, I forgot the E. But yeah, you say Rick, that's red, white, yellow, red, or pink. See? So like, hard for me to like, and I see the colors, I see it, don't just think it, like it's, so it's hard when I'm dealing with shadows. It's like I kind of don't see that, I see the colors first. So I've had to really work hard to kind of learn values, you know? Hence why I work in red color pencil and stuff, like it helps. But you don't get a good, red's not a good thing for that. Blue would be better, but red color is better, so you go figure it out. So here I'm trying this in color pencil. I've never done this since it didn't work out the way I kind of wanted it to. Like once you color it up with marker, you don't see any of it, but I was like, I'll give it a shot. Why not? Why not? Right in the way of my arm. Supposed to speak right in the mic, but it's tough. Tough to do that and draw with your whole arm. It gets right in the damn way. My sketchbooks never have a clean drawing in them. They're always super rough, so it's like doing clean art is something that is just easier for me digitally than traditionally. I wish it weren't the case, but I used to work all in graphite, you know, 20 years ago, and I gave myself real bad carpal tunnel around 2007. And so, I mean, I used a Cintiq at the SIGGRAPH in 2003, but they were still kind of like too expensive and they weren't quite perfect. But the version 2 came out, and I just put that down on a credit card. I was like, if I don't do this, I'm not gonna be able to draw, like, ever. So it really helped teach me to learn how to draw lighter, because I used to like not press hard, but stress on the edge of a pencil. Just a bad habit I picked up. Between working digitally on my lines and then color pencil, now I have a super light touch when I draw. Like, I don't do that anymore. So save my hand for certain. For certain. It's stuck. Probably on my head. A giant fist, isn't it? It is truly a fist of doom. And now I focus on moving the character. Make him move. Make him move. Make him move. Add a giant burst of energy. Not energy. Again, pointless. Could have just used the pen. But then I learn. It needs the green ball of energy because it's fallen. I must do it. I must do it. It needs it. That's something else I like gave explicit notes on. I remember telling my editor Thomas, I was like, hey, I want the Spawn's energy to have green with a yellow core. I don't like the mint green. They've been going mint with their Spawn energy. I don't like it. I want that OG energy. I was like, you know, we just had a meeting about that. I'm like, yeah, have a meeting about that. Tell everyone. I'll change. You're not gonna figure it out better than Steve Olive, Brian Haberlin, and Dan Campbell. They already figured it out. You guys ever read the Shadow miniseries that Bill Sienkiewicz did at DC? You guys ever read that? If you want to see a lot of McFarlane's influence for Spawn, I guess I don't have the balls to bring it up. There are these characters in there. One of them's named Twitchowitz, and they just look like Sam and Twitch, and they're like the Shadow's helpers. And if you look at the way Sienkiewicz is drawing hair in there, it looks just like McFarlane's like stylized hair. I mean, it's a dope book. The colors, she's a great color. She's the one that did Batman Year One, but it didn't work with his lines. I wish they would re-release that in just the inks, because the inks are phenomenal. But the color, covers are brilliant. But I just don't think the colors help. In my humble opinion. I've told him that too. One time he posted inks, I was like, you need to post. We need just an artist edition of that. I'd be like, man, that's serious. Or really reals. There's something about that late 1980s to like 92, 93 graphic design that DC had that mixed Art Deco with like, I don't know, pinstriping, and just their graphic design was on point. I love the look of it. It was like classic, you know. Then it kind of went to shit in 94, 95. I think they were trying to make them look like the image books. I love me image, you know that. You know I do. The DC books look great. All the graphic design, like the logos and the font placements. Super dope. And then I'm adding ballpoint pen. Carpet man. I really overkilled this one. Sometimes like I don't want to stream because I'm like, oh, I'm gonna screw up, you know. And then now I look back, I'm like, I'm so glad I recorded that screw up. And just watch me screw up here. The shading with the ballpoint pen isn't a problem. Like, that's actually pretty cool. But like, once this thing gets markered up, you can't see any of this. Like, really. Oh, now I'm going in with marker, adding the... I knew because that wasn't going to work, so I was like, well, whatever. Always get people to pay you to experiment. That's how I feel. This was a paid commission, so I guess I'm figuring it out on their dime. I'm still really learning how to like draw effects, like blasts and stuff. Like I mostly like always color does in. So, like on the book, I gotta like draw this stuff in, you know, for the colors. And I'm just like, I'll just paint this in. If I just painted it in, like there, it's painted in. You work around it. Get away with that. Yeah. Where would the line stop, right? Where would I say? If I just started doing that, I'd start coloring everything. No sense. That's a big, thick, bold line, eh, Rob? Joseph Walker in the house from YouTube. Rob, my man, he says, my art brother. Glad you're keeping things going. Thanks for hanging out, Joseph. Look, I went and just blocked that in with the mark because it told you it didn't work. Yeah. Yeah. Never had an art mentor growing up. Even into my 20s, I had to figure it all out myself. Like I always wondered if I had someone that was there to help guide Rob a little bit, could have probably sped up the process, but it didn't happen. So. I don't know if I like. Let's. Sometimes I have to paint in this stuff and then just draw over it. sounds weird, but blob and draw is kind of like how I do a lot less work. Sometimes blob it in, get a rough painting, and then just draw over it. Taking a long way around there. This work is Hellboy's always been doing. Oh, I appreciate it. Yeah, I never posted the final Copics to this for whatever reason. So appreciate it, Joseph. If I do another one, it's gonna have to be in watercolor. Not as saucy, like just like a cleaner thing. Joseph says, "What's good? Hope all is well." Yeah, everything's well, man. Right now, I'm drawing Spawn Kills Every Spawn, coming out this summer from Todd McFarlane Productions. We watched Hellboy. Alright, now we're gonna get to the Copics. We're gonna get to the good stuff. It's gonna go by so fast. I'll have to keep an eye on it so I can. Because he's mostly just red, right? So it's like it wasn't a big deal. Here we go. We've got 12 viewers. It's actually pretty good for me at 10 o'clock at night. It's pretty good. Appreciate you all hanging out with me. All the lurkers. Here we go. So I'm going to start by filling in the shaded area. Do it colored pencil. Joseph Walker says, the fact you are able to fill a whole page, can't get mad at it. Right? You're getting your money's worth. Regular old thin Hellboy, you get much. You get much. I look at it now and I probably should have just kept all that white as the highlight. Sort of 1993 Capcom look of Vegas. These are a little tough, I find, because they're kind of affected by what highlights or undercolor you give them. Like, so you kind of need like an orange, or you need a magenta. Kind of depends on which way you carve it up. Especially with colored pencil, like, you really need to have an undercolor to get it to feel alive. It can feel dead, I think. Slightly easier with Copic markers. Definitely color pencils. Joseph Walker says the Battletoads is his favorite, even though he can never get past. Waiting for it. It's going to continue. See, that's that chrome orange I'm using to give it that one. Is that? No, that's salmon red, actually. My bad. Status incorrectly. Oh, you can never get past that one level. Oh, yeah. The hoverboards. The hoverboard bikes. I had to have Game Genie help me out with that one back in the day. Someone just texted me. Is it Brandon? Is Brandon trying to get in? Oh no, my phone died. Okay, even better. Brandon can't bug. "14 people on this stream. Excellent. Welcome everybody. We're just watching me look up old Hellboy here from 2017. Oh, yeah, the Game Genie couldn't help me, but it could give me enough lives. This is why I prefer working in color pencil, folks, because I can get real light with that. And with markers, it's so flat. So flat to me. I think it's slightly better on craft paper. Jeff was like, "You already know what I'm talking about." Yeah, I told you, man. I played the Battletoads. Like, I was there. I was there. And that was back when if you had one game, you just played the hell out of it. You never. That's all you had to play. That's all you had to play. At least I did. I didn't have a lot of games. So. My buddy let me borrow Battle Chasers. Battletoads, and I played it nonstop. Whether it was good or not, it's all I had. I like the characters enough. It got me past all that. I eventually did it, but it was not easy. Even if I use that red for coverage, I could use color pencil for that. I eventually use color pencil, but I look at how I did this. I'm like, yeah, I don't know about that one, Rob. Don't know about that one. now I'm working on that spawn magic. Magical spawn effects. That's when I was like, maybe I can just do this with color. It's so tiny. It's like, yeah. I've done a lot more color pencils already. Joseph Walker says, what's actually wild? You actually know how it feels to actually keep a game because you had no choice back then. You either work with it or not. Parents didn't buy you a brand new game when it didn't work. Yeah, you had kind of no choice. At least in my house. My cousin, he had these parents that spoiled him rotten. So if he didn't like it, they just got rid of it. And then he'd let me borrow it and I'd make it work. That's how I beat Goonies 2. Because he hated it. That's how I beat Battletoads, Bayou Billy, and all the ninja guys. It was like, too hard, sucks. Well, I'll make it work. I did, I beat all the ninja guys. My mom was. Not doing home. Joseph Walker says, I actually remember how long it took me to sell Mario Kart 64. Almost 6 years before you liked it. Yeah, Mario Kart was fun. I was more of a Crash Team Racing guy when it finally came out because it was full 3D. I was like, it's full 3D. Mario Kart says blurry render. Mario Kart was fun multiplayer, for certain. I think the highway level was my favorite. The highway level and the beach. Those are my two favorites. Good, yeah, all these little color pencil textures. kind of hard to see here, but it's in the final. Got a much better camera now. 4K picks up everything, including when you don't clean your desk before you stream. Like, hey, dog hair. You're like, my dog sheds. Sorry, both of them. You gotta clarify that's Diddy Kong, not P Diddy. You just put Diddy out there these days, you're gonna get the wrong feedback. But yeah, you can take Copic markers, folks, and then like use color pencil to like blend. So you don't have to worry about blending the shit out of them, you know. And it really does smoothen everything out. Like, you save yourself a lot of ink that way too. Especially if it's like on paper stock, on like a sketch cover or something that doesn't, you know, it streaks or builds up, you can get around that with the color pencils. Especially like the oil base. Like I use polychrome, the oil base ones work better for that. Yeah, Diddy Kong was great. That's why I liked, yeah, the Diddy Adventure Race. Yeah, the Diddy Adventure Racing was dope. But in terms of pure kart racer, Crashing Racing was a better game. But Diddy Kong had flying, you know, had boats, it had adventure levels. For a single player experience, it was absolutely awesome. It was an adventure racing game. I thought it was way superior to Mario Kart 64. People would agree with me these days, but I felt back in the day. Feel that way now. Although fans have made an HD Mario Kart 64 game where they actually recreated all the CGI, the 90s CGI models, you know? And, it looks really great. Like, it actually looks like the box art in real time. It looks pretty great. It was just like the blurriness. Plus, Nintendo, I love Nintendo, folks. I'm a Nintendo guy, but like, they talk a lot of shit at the time about, you know, 3D pre-rendered stuff. Like, we do real 3D, you know, we don't do pre-renders. And here on Mario Kart 64 is blurry pre-renders. Like, I would have just preferred pixel art over the 3D, to be honest with you. But it's all that smoothing going on the 64. On the anti, whatever it's not anti-aliasing, they don't have that. They have like a, not mid-mapping, what's it called? Is it mid-mapping? That's like LOD mid-mapping. It's like their version of LOD now. But it's doing a form of smoothing. I don't like it. So on RetroArch and stuff now, you can turn that off and this looks like a proper 32-bit system, you know. The games actually look better with the pixel textures versus the smooth textures, I feel. We have the blast. I can just draw the blast. I never turned my Nintendo back on. Well, I gave away my Nintendo 64 and all my games a long time ago. That was generally, like, when I got a new system, I generally gave away my stuff. I never traded them in. I always find like someone who I deemed worthy of my collection. And This is 2004. My landlord, she had her little kid, her like 12-year-old son, was the handyman. So we had like a termite problem in her bathroom, me and my roommate. And this kid came in. He's like, "Yeah, I'm here to fix a termite thing." I'm like, this little Ralph Macchio looking kid shows up, and I'm like, "All right, kid, you know, termites are in the tub." And he walks in and saw I had the Nintendo 64 right there with all the games, you know, like displayed. He goes, "You have Indiana Jones and the Infernal Machine. I've never seen this game." And I'm like, because I bought it off the Lucas Arts website when it came out, and I was like, "Yeah, you know what that is?" He's like, "Yeah," and he started going. I mean, all like not the big hits, like all the other stuff that I would play, like Mischief Makers. He's like, "Oh my gosh, yeah," you know. And so after talking with him for a while, I'm like, "You want this stuff?" And he's like, "Do I? You know, I could have. Yeah, you can just have it." So I gave it to him. Now I just emulate when I want to like play. I get a hankering every now and then, especially with the retro, to turn off all the filters, bump up that frame rate, you know. You just need a couple of Robs, a couple of Ben, I'm sure you get them. Now I'm trying to just like fade out some of those hard edges a little bit, right? Soften them up with the pencil. That's why the color pencil, I'm telling you, that those oil pencils I think are the best, dude. I love them. Because you can go right over like an inked edge and just like do it soft. You can soften things up. They work so well. And Star Fox 64 never looks better. Wave Race is still my go-to game. I still play Wave Race. A few times a year I'll pop that in and play for a night. I think that play control still holds up. Wave Race 64. Not the GameCube version, not as good. Wave Race 64 is excellent. Same with Ridge Racer 4. Ridge Racer 4 in the PlayStation 1. Just the color palette, and the level design, the music, all that stuff. I love it. Love it. What is my favorite RPG on the PS1? Oh, that's Final Fantasy Tactics. It's my favorite RPG of all time. You know. Final Fantasy Tactics guy. I play it to this day. I've probably played it more than any game I've ever played. Music, the battle system, the story. The 3D dioramas. Many strategy games have come and gone, but none has hit those highs. Vandal Hearts is pretty good. I think that's the most underrated RPG on there. I love, you know, I love them all. I love most of them, too. But Breath of Fire 3, Final Fantasy 7, 8, they're great. But I'm gonna attack this guy. Okay, see, I'm doing the orange into the white highlights this time versus marker. Because I figured out I don't need the marker because this relates to color pencil. So yeah, I'm here going, I would do it this way, and then halfway through I'm like, yeah, that's what I did. I don't remember figuring that out, but seems about right. Probably all that other stuff down there and that was in white, I should have just done that color pencil. The first Wild Arms game is pretty great too. The Western. I like the original Grandia with the pixel characters, and the 3D towns with pixel textures. When it went like fully smooth 3D, I didn't like it. I liked it better with pixel. It says, I was in a game club and my mom said, get on game. It was between get a game, and it was between Legends of Dragoon and Final Fantasy Tactics. Dragoon was a good game, but I mean, it was Sony SCEA's first party response to Final Fantasy VII. And I don't think it was as good, but it has its fan base for certain. Like I said, there's so much like pencil work going over these markers that at some point I was like, oh, I'll just do the whole thing in color pencil. Because although it came out really nice, I just felt like people weren't noticing that there was color pencil, and I was like, if I'm doing this much work with color pencil, I should just do the whole thing in color pencil and get the credit. But if you don't want to spend the extra time to do that, you can get great coverage with markers and then use color pencil. You can also do the same thing with watercolor. You can get great coverage with watercolor and color pencil as well. Giant fist. So says Yancy felt like he never he ain't playing no tactic game. Yeah. You missed out for certain. Yasumi Matsuno, the director and writer of the game, was reading Game of Thrones at the time, so it's very Game of Thronesy. You know, I mean, Game of Thrones had just come out, so like, story. And I love the battle systems, man. I love chess, you know, like animated chess, and so it was like, and the music's so good. The music is what makes all of it work, dude. Is it Hitoshi Sakamoto? So good. Needs an orchestral version. They've never done an orchestral version. But I'll end up using color pencil to pop all those knees forward by using like maroons and blacks. You're gonna give it a try. Hey. He also did the composer did all the scores for the Valkyrie Chronicles games, which are like tactics games with 3D models, like more three-dimensional maps. You know, if you actually walk around, you feel a little bit more like an action game. But what I love about a good RPG for me. A good RPG isn't really about the story. The story's there, it's fine. It can be a great story, it can be an okay story. It's about the battle system. The battle system should be fun to play. So when they're like, oh, we need RPGs, but we don't want the battles to turn or whatever because people get bored. I'm like, no, the battle system is great, you never get bored. You know, the problem is you just don't want to be like, it's the grind. So you need to design, you know, either the thing for the battles to be necessary to the story, or you have to just be able to, like, it should be fun that you're like, this is the point. I mean, it's like taking the battle system out of Magic the Gathering. The game is the battle system. You wouldn't do that. You go, oh, let's take Magic the Gathering an action game. Let's make it like G.I. Joe action movie. It's like, no. Taking a turn and anticipating and setting things up and blah, blah, blah. That's all part of the game. And I just don't understand why catering to action gamers is like been the way to go. It hasn't done them as well as they would hope. A lot of their games, they cost way more, by the way, to make, you know, like the Tales games, Tales and the Trails games, dude, like they've stuck to turn-based and they keep those games on a budget and they can make money back. When they got to spend like $500 million to make a Final Fantasy game so the whole thing is rendered out, you can see the whole world, you're like, you're never making your money back on that game. So it's like, I don't know. I don't get it. And Capcom, the Breath of Fire games were 2Ds with it was so good. They could do a hand-drawn, hand-painted, turn-based RPG, man, and I mean, they could do so many things, and they just don't. You know, it's like, well, it won't work. It will work. You know, just keep it on a budget and you know, market it, put it in the forefront. When you buy a game, let's say you buy Resident Evil 8, their big title, include the demo in the game. When you load up, go, oh, the demo for this new RPG is built right into the game when you download it. You know, you're getting the demo anyway. So into the game. You know, and give them rewards, right? Like if you beat the demo, you unlock skins for the game. So you can get people to try these different games, right? By not playing the demo, but then they unlock something in the game that they love. And if they don't love it, great. But I bet you convert way more people than placing an ad like in, or you know, on Twitch somewhere, hoping someone on social media sees it, you know. I mean, they got me on Tactics because they had these demo discs that had the Final Fantasy VII demo, and on it had a trailer for Tactics. That, I mean, that demos, man. Yeah, Tales of Destiny, those are great games. I just feel like we gotta look, you know, if I had my way, if I had the Thanos Club, I could do whatever I want in the video game industry. We gotta train people to like play shorter games. And I don't mean like lane games, just like scoped games at the same scope as a 32-bit game. You can have all new graphics, but like, there's just, it's not cost effective. They can't keep, this is why they constantly have to like tear down studios and get rid of people, because they're just, the games are too big, man. And most people don't even play all the content. And you got to get those prices down. So you got to have like, I think the sweet spot is $39.99, you know? And that $39.99 needs to scope the game. And if you want to go up to a $70 AAA game, all right, do a big game. Make those your like, you know, your big summer blockbuster style thing. But then pack in demos that have like rewards that, show for their game. Give people an incentive to try different things, you know? But I mean, I worked in game magazines, and every now and then, because I was the artist, if they didn't want to go to like E3, they'd send me, and I'd go. Believe me, I'd sit there and bug the hell out of these people with my thoughts. And they, of course, they'd ignore Rob. But think about like the best thing I've seen in years was them making these super long demos, like the Dragon Quest XI demo on the Switch, where your save carries over to the full game. I mean, that's great. It's super great, you know? That converted so many people. You don't have to revisit that content, you know? While they make a Breath of the Wild 2, 3, 4, whatever, they could be doing a hand-drawn, scoped, classical Zelda dungeon game, you know, that adds a couple new features. They could do that, you know, that's, you know, comes in on a good budget, you know, only takes 18 months to make, maybe 24, but, you know. I mean, Square should be making games like Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 9. Turn-based, lower budget games that just have more, you know, they're more adventurous with the stories. You know, they can reuse battle systems or play off them, bring the material system back. They can charge the mobile price for that, you know, the $39.99, whatever. Even $29.99. I mean, all they gotta do, you know, sell 4 million, 5 million copies of that. Good to go, man. But 1 million to break even, you know. They keep chasing after giant money. There's so many giant titles you can buy every year. Time-wise and financially, right? Always something. Yeah, it's hard with Breath of the Wild. Like, there's stuff I like about it, but it just feels it feels empty to me a lot of times, even Tears of the Kingdom. So it's like, plus I'm not a crafting guy. I like to just play a game, so they can continue to make 2D Mario games. They should be able to make. And the Zelda Metroid Dread was great, but like, I would have preferred hand drawn. You know, the 3D models. Doesn't have the same charm. Your nephew says you're missing out. It's like, well, sometimes you miss out. You know, if it doesn't connect with you. I'm gonna say something most of you folks think is blasphemous, right? I'm gonna say it right now. I didn't like Ocarina of Time. You know, I didn't like Ocarina of Time until the 3DS version came out for a multitude of reasons. One, no soundtrack. There was no sound chip on the N64. Music was minimal. I didn't like it. Ocarina theme was catchy. It was, you know, memorable, but they kind of already did that on Link's Awakening when you played the flute there. They had a Marina, whatever her name is, the girl's name theme, you know. And I thought, like, I already did this. You know, this is another version of Link's Awakening. Link's Awakening was great. So, like, I didn't like that. I didn't like the pre-rendered castles and interiors, the blurry pre-renders. Like, hard edge pixels I am fine with, because like when they're pixelized you can kind of, the noise, it looks fine to me, it looks like a game. But those blurry pre-rendered low res backgrounds, you know, especially when, again, Nintendo at the time talked mad shit about pre-rendered backgrounds, and then there in Zelda is pre-rendered background. I was like, get the fuck out of here. So, and the water temple is literally the worst level in a video game I think I've ever played. But on the 3DS version, they remade all no pre-rendered backgrounds. The sound quality and the sound chip was way better on the 3DS. The 3D-ness is great, and they balance out that water temple. So the 3DS version of that game, I think, is great. But the N64 version, no. The best game that came out that year was Metal Gear Solid. But it is. It's the only Metal Gear game I love. I like a lot of them, but Metal Gear Solid 1 I love. The other ones, you know, they have their strengths and minuses. You had to pay. Joseph says he has to pay $10 for someone to tell him how to beat that level. Yeah. Good stuff. So I appreciate the openness of Breath of the Wild, but the Switch just doesn't have enough in it to give you like a realized 3D world. You get around it because, you know, their sense of adventure is great, but at the same time, it's like, it still doesn't have a Zelda theme. It's quiet, and just kind of has like ice cream shaped mountains everywhere and rocks. Slightly better in Tears of the Kingdom. It definitely feels like the game they wanted to make originally. but it still just doesn't have the ability to render a real 3D world on that system. But it is technically a fantastic. I mean, the technical that game, you should be able to break it left and right, but you can't. I give the engineers at Nintendo. It's probably the greatest technical feat I've seen in a video game since Half-Life 2 and Portal. Like, it shouldn't work, and it does. So props to them. And they did it all on that system. Which goes to show you optimization is truly everything, you know? Optimization and just good game design. Oh, shuckers. I forgot to draw something. Muscle rendering came on nice, but that's the color pencil did all that, you know? Like, would do that with the color pencil. Like, this was the one I know. I was like, all right. And then I did one more I hate. I did this commission. I should have started over. I did these proportions that just, they did not work. I pushed this chonky look so far that the character was pretty much unrecognizable, but the person that bought it said, oh no man, that's great. I'm like, you sure about this? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, all right man. I should have just thrown it away and redid it. I know I never posted it. I didn't like it. But I definitely was like, okay, I'm doing too much style and not actual drawing now, so. I call it parodying yourself. When you start to parody yourself, you know, like you're kind of leaning into how you draw a little too much, no control. It's just style over substance. You know, you gotta stop. You gotta pull back. You know what video game did that? I'll tell you what video game did that. I'm not a Mortal Kombat guy. I think the animation's stiff, but I recognize Mortal Kombat 2. The color palette, the characters, the music, everything works on that game. Mortal Kombat 2 is a great game. Mortal Kombat 3 is dog shit. That is total parody. Cyber ninjas, BMX armor. No. It is no good. It is no good. Colossal step backwards. In Mortal Kombat 4, let's just not even talk about that. You know? Not as bad as War Gods, but it was not good. Guys, I really know my 32-bit era video games. Right? You probably don't want to get into it with me on it. You know? Like, I know him so well that when I went to work with Dave Halverson over at Play Magazine and we launched Game Fan, when he really got to know me, I mean, he was there for all of it, and even he was, Rob really knows the shit. You know? Like, yeah, that was my jam. I read up on everything. I rented everything. I owned most of them. You know? 32-bit was my era. I think Mortal Kombat 3 was a good game. No, it is not. I'm sorry. It is not. Bloated, and the design was not. Mortal Kombat 2 had an elegant design. It had that perfect purple, reddish magenta fire lava look with the dark skies. It was perfect. Mortal Kombat 3 parody. It was downhill from there, and they've never, in my opinion, gotten back to it. I know people don't agree with me. But telling you. You know it to be true. You know it to. Cyber ninjas, dog. Not good. Some of the worst character designs I've seen outside of Battlefield Earth. You know, and when they put those designs in that Mortal Kombat 2 movie with what's her face with the big monster hair and shit, you know, like, it wasn't good, man. It wasn't good. Don't let your childhood bias lead you astray, my friend. I mean, look, I find enjoyment in the Street Fighter EX Plus series, right? But they are not good 3D games. They're not good Street Fighter games, you know? What was my top at the time? Top fighting game? The top fighting game was Street Fighter Alpha 3. Period. I've stood by that. And all of the modes they added for the PS1, the additional world modes and story modes and all that stuff was brilliant. It sacrificed frames and all that shit, but the port of that, the content they added that was brilliant. You know, flipping between 3 styles, all that stuff was great. I like him on that, right? Rival Schools, I think, was the best 3D fighter at that time. Rival Schools, well, not the best, but one of the best. I mean, do you count Soul Calibur as a 32-bit game? Because I kind of don't. I feel like the Dreamcast is basically a PS2 level system, you know? So it's not really. But Rival Schools, I think, was the best of the 3D fighters on the PS1 or 32-bit era. Toe Ball actually is a very good game if you play it right, you know, because it was a true 3D fighter. It just didn't have enough stuff. And Toe Ball 2 did have enough stuff, but we never got it. So hard to recommend a game no one really has access to outside of emulation these days. But we modded my buddy's PS1 just to play it and made a giant manual and shit. And look, I think the 3D wrestling games on the 64 are good fighting games, even though they're slower pace. They're pretty good. You know, those NWO, WCWF, number C games, all that stuff. Those are, even if you don't like wrestling, they're fun games. Light control is there. I'm gonna say something else controversial, but I like Marvel superheroes more than Marvel vs. Capcom. Final Fight? 1991's Final Fight? Oh, they tied in Final Fight into Alpha 3? Yeah. Yeah, with Guy and Hagar and all that stuff. Yeah, no, dude. Alpha 3 is... At the time, everyone was like, Street Fighter 3 is the best. I'm like, it's animated brilliantly. I'm not gonna lie, dude. The CP3 hardware, it's brilliantly animated. But at the Alpha series, 1, 2, and 3, bangers. Like, there is no better trilogy of Street Fighter games. Period. And I mean, it's so good, man. But I played Street Fighter Alpha 3 every day for 3 years, you know? Every night. Came home, I was in the army, man. I'd get in, sit down, play it for an hour. Every freaking night, dude. So... There was a time I could say I was probably one of the best Street Fighter Alpha 3 players in the world. But not anymore. I own the Sega. I own the PlayStation, Sega Saturn? I think I own the Sega Saturn. If it was on Saturn, I owned it. I can't remember. I played the PlayStation one the most because those modes. Even though it had dropped frames. It had dropped frames. The modes were so good. With the challenges where you could fight Bison and reenact scenes from the movie and stuff, dude. Come on. But, yeah, no, Final Fight 2 and 3, they're trash, dude. I mean, Final Fight's just a Street Fighter. It was originally Street Fighter USA. It was literally a Street Fighter game. Like, no, let's not do that. We'll make Street Fighter 2. I'd love to see them do, you know, like a hand-drawn, spine-rigged Final Fight 4 in Bengus' style, old school style, you know, all hand-drawn with those like marker watercolor backgrounds and shit. That'd be so good, man. So awesome. One of the reasons why I ink with maroon ink or burnt sienna ink here, so not all the lines fall into black. You get like chromatic lines. Streets of Rage 3 soundtrack was garbage though, man. I love Streets of Rage, but that Streets of Rage 3 soundtrack really let Rob down. Really let Rob down. No, on the Dreamcast, Third Impact was a great game. But I definitely had more fun playing Power Stone and stuff, Party. But the Third Impact on Dreamcast was pretty awesome. And obviously Soul Calibur. Soul Calibur was like... That's where I was like, okay, 3D fighters can work. Although Tekken 3... It's not really a 3D fighter, though, is it? I mean, it's polygonal, but yeah, it counts. Tekken 3 on the PS1 was pretty... People forget how big a game that really was. You know, and it kind of shouldn't work on that system, but they made it work. So, like, props to Tekken 3 on the PS1. I had a beer, I'd drink to it, right? There really were no good fighters on N64. Smash Bros. Didn't really count as much. It was fun. Playing on that controller wasn't the best, though. And I love the Nintendo 64 controller, but it was not good for fighting games. I actually give some credit to Dark Rift. You know, not great gameplay, but it was 60 frames per second. They did the best they could. Honestly, if I say anything, Tekken 3 is the last time I liked the Tekken games. Go figure. The only soundtrack was Gaikado for PS1. They had to do with Streets of Rage. Yeah, that was the cover. Gaikado was the game that Joe Mad did the cover art to, on the American release. Yeah, Joe Madden did that. He did the cover of the guy. And he did the Alpha 3 cover for EGM. No, PSM. Sorry, for PSM magazine. I have that one still. I almost bought the artwork for that once. You know that? I came this close to buying the cover art. I had some money saved up. And I could either get that or I could get 3 pages of Spawn from Greg Capullo. I had to choose. Do I get the EGM cover, which was all pencils, or do I get 3 pages? Now, the Spawn art I have features Spawn, Cogliostro, and Angela. And there's some good pages, man. One from issue 97, or 2 from issue 97. No, 1 from 97, 2 from issue 71 or 75. I can't remember. And I'm like, how many people are going to own actual Angela with Spawn on it? Never going to happen again, probably. So it was one or the other, man. One or the other. And as much as I love that cover, I know. I think about it all the time. Like, oh, damn it. I wish I could have gotten both. Like, I can make a recreation of those pencils. Like, I can print that. I could, if I wanted to, I could redraw that cover. I can't create the Danny Miki Capullo combination Spawn art. I can't do it. It is beyond my capability. So that was sort of my theory on that one. But I do love that cover, man. I won't lie. I want to say May of '99. All right, that's where I was at when I bought it. Ooh, shit, dog. Told you, I know my 32-bit ear. It all falls apart to me during the PS2 era because I was in college and didn't have as much time anymore. To be fair though, man, like I look at that Capullo art every day. It's like hanging up right before walking to my office. And I remember my wife was looking at the price tag. She's like, "You idiot!" And I'm like, "No, you don't understand. These characters can never appear in a Spawn comic ever again. So this is gonna be worth some once Greg passes away. I don't want him to pass away. It's brilliant. I don't want it, but I'm saying one day it's gonna happen. You know? You're gonna get your money back on this one." Joseph says, "Did I see episode 3 of it? I did. I like it. However, I'll say this. They could have split that story up into 2 episodes. Part of the fault of Disney Plus is like cramming everything into 8 episodes or 10 episodes, you know? So, but I guess I'll take a bunch of stuff happening versus nothing, but I felt like that episode could have been put into 2, because Morph just disappears and stuff. But I don't want to spoil it for you. But I liked it. It's good. It's just my wife has no idea what's going on. She was just like, "What?" And I had to like kind of explain some stuff. So probably not the best sign, you know. But it's still good stuff. Man, I wish they'd make a beat 'em up, you know, another X-Men beat 'em up with, you know, the 97 stuff. Yeah, they're cramming a little much. You know, it didn't need to be all in one episode. But you know what, man? They're using the time that they're given. You know, so it's like, what can I say? That's a fault of Disney Plus, in my opinion. Yeah, I'll take this right now. I mean, look, I give this one a solid 8.5. You know, like it's good. You know, like they could just pace it out a little bit. Well, people had no MCU movies after COVID for well over a year, and then people complain, "Where's Marvel next?" You know, so it's like, I don't know. It's not. Again, it's a quality issue. It's not a quantity issue. I still don't understand, with all the great chemistry that fucking Sam and them had, Sam and Sebastian Stan, you know, Sam and Bucky had in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. They're like, yeah, let's not put them together for the movie. Yeah, but I mean, Endgame, it took a long time to get to that. You know, you can't start with Endgame. You wouldn't have appreciated it. So, you know, you got to build up. It's like starting with Toy Story 3. Like, no, you need the other two to make that work. The background, folks. So this is distressing, and I've made my own stamps using foam that I've glued onto these little foam blocks that I cut down. My wife cut those down, actually. She cut down the wood because I'm afraid to touch a saw, and I want to cut my fingers off. So I just dab it on that, and then just gotta make sure you don't tear the paper or crinkle it while you're doing it. This is where I use the olive green more than like a mint green. Black Panther did more of that villain. Yeah, I like Black Panther. How much the sequel? Too much. I like it when Black Panther is like James Bond meets superhero stuff with, you know, their own politics. When it turns into like an Iron Man movie, I'm not up for that. Just couldn't. Underwater stuff, I was like, it doesn't look so dark. Can't understand. But like in the first one, when they go to that club and it's like you got the, you know, James Bond car sequence and stuff, dude. So good. So good. I think I'm done with this page. And I didn't care for the costume design on the iron stuff. Like, I don't care that it's girl iron heart. I don't care about that. But the other girls that had the other armor, it just, the costumes, you know, looked like Hellboy 2 cosplay. They were not good. The armor on that, the designs of all of it were bad. It was not good. I don't know if they were using like too many rounded shapes or something, but it just didn't have. Yeah, I don't know. It didn't look. It didn't look good. It was very Power Rangery. But they had the feels. The opening was great, and it ended well with the feels, right? Just more of that James Bondage stuff. Stamp pads, folks. That stuff works on everything too. Sketch covers, doesn't buckle because it adds so little ink. So good. So you get that marble masterpiece, like Go Juice Go style burst without having to paint anything. It takes minutes. Highly recommend. And you can carve in using the different edges of the stamp. I mean, they have their stamps, they suck. So I made my own. I don't like their stamps. And I've had these, I made these 10 years ago, they still work. They still hold up. Is that it? Or are we gonna add white highlights now? The white highlight part, I didn't do such a good job on this one. Probably shouldn't have done much of it at all. I think it looks fine without most of it, but I just felt the need to paint in white highlights, and I don't really like the way they came out on this. Lesson learned on that one. They can look great. I just don't think they came out very good on this one. And so you don't have to get the stamp next to the figure. You can keep it further away than use the color pencil to do the colors that are close to the figure, so you don't worry about stamping over the figure. And a good tip with the color pencil, if you want less pigment, just hold farther away. And if you want more, you hold closer to. I use the yellow as the core because he's got the yellow highlights on the red skin. And then a little fun trick on figure art when you're doing this is you can go around all the edges with the saturated color and give it a little glow. Give a little bit of that glow around the edge. Makes them pop. I'm adding a little bit of orange in there just to give a little bit of that warm glow. Around the edges. Oh, we didn't even need it. Could have just kept the yellow. One extra step. Had to just eat another hour. What time is it? 11. I mean, 11:50. All right, folks. I'm gonna have to end it here. We'll replay this again all the way one day when I got a longer time. But I'm gonna post this final art. I never posted. I'm gonna definitely post it up on my DeviantArt, my Facebook page as well as Sketchcraft. I'll put it there on the Sketchcraft for certain tomorrow. If you want to check that out. If you have any questions, please always leave them in the comments. Engagement is how we tickle the algos. If you don't tickle the algos don't tickle you. Don't share this. Don't share the page. It goes, get all that effort. We ain't sharing you. We ain't sharing nothing. So all you gotta do is post a smiley face, a thumbs up, something in the comments, and that makes a hell of a difference for the channel, folks. Really appreciate everyone sticking around and hanging out with me this late at night. We will run this again in the future, you know, most definitely. I think tomorrow I'm gonna play this old saucy one I did. It's not my favorite, but again, sometimes it's good to run bad art. It's not bad. It's actually, it's just I didn't understand how to do watercolor and keep it bright at the time. It got too dark, I think. But we will all watch that together. While I start page 19. 2 more pages to go and I'm done with this issue. These 2 pages should be pretty easy. This is the last difficult page to do for this issue. This was tough, folks. Page 18 was tough. So all right, everybody, thanks for hanging out. Joseph Walker, thanks for keeping me company. Shelby, thanks for staying high. Staying high. Thanks for staying high, Shelby. Thanks for stopping by. I am tired and I need to get some sleep. I gotta be back up in 7 hours. So I will see you all tomorrow. Show is over.